broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, turn that up. We want to hear it. There we go. Hey! Hey, I like this song.
He's heard it too many times.
But it's a dope song. Hey! That's fine. I'm going to dance by myself. Y'all too cool for me. What's up, everybody? It is the one and only Hell's Kitchen After Show. I'm your host, Lem Gonsalves. We are here, as we always are, ready to talk Hell's Kitchen. You can always find me on social media at The Poet Saint. As you can see, and I'm going to show you in a minute, we got some new people in the house. We have an extra special guest I'm already excited about because she's on this season of Hell's Kitchen. But right now, I'm going to introduce my girl, Briana Phipps. What's up, Briana?
Hey, everyone. I'm glad to be a part of this panel. It's exciting.
Yeah.
You guys can all reach me at bphipps14. It's PHIPPS, and that will be on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. And of course, all the way on the west side, my boy Frank Moran, hold it down always.
Yes, you can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
Yeah. And as I said before, drumroll please, she is on the current season of Hell's Kitchen that we are discussing, none other than Miss Ariel Malone. Hey! What's up?
What's up?
How you doing?
Good. Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Excited about your chef jacket?
I'm definitely excited about my chef jacket. I was the only one with red cuffs in my jacket. So,
You were.
You know.
I see it.
I had to flaunt the jacket.
I see it. I like it.
Wait, no one else on the...
No, I don't know what happened with wardrobe. They just
Really?
I don't know what was going on. But the blue, the guys, some of the guys, multiple guys had it. But I guess I lucked up.
I guess you're wardrobe's favorite.
Yeah.
For the red team.
I like
You're
it.
just special.
Yeah.
I like it. It's awesome. That's what it is. So, as you know, everyone that's been following us, we've had guests every single season. We've been very, very blessed. But this is the first guest that is currently a contestant on season 15. Cool. So, very excited. I know the fans are very excited. Also because, and I said this before to Christina last week, so it's not no BS I'm trying to put out there, but I did say that Ariel is my favorite contestant on the show at this present moment. So I'm excited. You guys, Frank, you said somebody else, so you're a hater.
Yep, I'm a hater. I'm a hater already.
I'm just calling you out. I'm calling you out.
But I like how you said at the moment, though,
Right.
Lem. You just had your bets already right there.
I'm
at
just
the
saying,
moment.
at this present moment in time, Ariel is my favorite, and that's all I'm going to say.
All right. Yeah. All right.
So, Ariel, as we always do, we like to find out, of course, your experience on Hell's Kitchen. We've had, many people come here and they talk about it, and everyone has a different type of experience. Just to start off, you're selected to be on this show. You go in for that first, you're giving your signature dishes to, Gordon Ramsay. How many Michelin stars did you say he had?
Like 15 or
Like
16.
15,000, right?
Yeah,
Just tons.
pretty much.
And you're there putting out your dish. What's that feeling like?
Well, honestly, I was a little bit nervous because everyone was like chiffonade, like rutabaga, like pure, like all this like fancy shit. And I was like, I made shashushka.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. That sounds pretty fancy to me.
Yeah, for me too. Like,
well, maybe because it's like Mediterranean, so like the name sounds fancy, but it's like a really basic dish.
Okay.
And so, from watching other seasons, like I didn't know like they might make us cook like our signature dish like upside down or like something crazy. So I'm like, I'm just gonna really like cook my signature, like a signature dish of mine, rather than like try to impress Gordon Ramsay with like scallops or sea bass or like sous vide whatever or a store-bought pizza.
Right.
So I wanted to really do something that I could do no matter what they threw at me.
Right.
So when I presented it to him, I was just like, I hope that he doesn't try to play me and be like, you made a baked egg.
Right.
Now, was there any debate in your head when you were thinking, all right, I got to make a signature dish, that it would be shashusha? Were you weighing a couple options, or was that just from the get-go, you're like, I'm making that?
Well, not from the get-go, but like I said, I just wanted to pick something that I knew I was comfortable with, and like that, I love breakfast foods, so that was
So do I.
Yeah, and like runny egg yolk is like the best thing in the world, so like that was like what was really like I wanted to make. And then my other thing is like I love grilling food, so I was kind of like I wanted to do like a shish kebab kind of thing, and so but I went with shashusha because I feel like it showed kind of like there was more. It showed more of my skills because like to
Your
make
technique.
to make like the egg right, and then also like to try to plate it because it's also a really rustic dish. So
Sure.
like last minute I'm like, shit, how am I gonna plate this?
Right.
Because there's like a big pan of shashusha, so
Yeah.
I'm like had to like think of like how to make it look a little fancy, like chiffonade some stuff.
But if I remember correctly, it did really well, correct?
Yeah, he liked it.
Yeah.
He said the technique was good. He
Right.
said it was like a comfort dish, but executed.
You got a 3?
perfectly. Is that it? I got a 3.
Yeah.
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 Sorry.
But that's good.
No, that was good.
I mean, when some people got 1s and like really should have had 0s.
Yeah.
You gave
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
one just
And
to-
no one got 5.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. But I mean, at first impression, I think it was good, to show out. Now, in this particular episode, I'm just going to call you the face person because your faces are amazing. Like, I really love how, I mean, it's all in your face. Like, you don't have to say nothing. I'm just saying, like, I love that. And then the nonverbal communication, and you see somebody, like, messing up, and you just look at them, and then you, like, get to cooking and everything like that. I feel like a lot of that went on, like, the entire time. Where at this stage in the game, you still got a lot of people that, you're trying to weed out to get to the better people in this type of situation. There's a lot of people that are messing up, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people that are messing up. And there actually came to a point where when you first started, we'll get into the episode, Mies, you said she should be a telemarketer because she just talks so much. And
nothing.
About nothing. Was it really bothering you?
It wasn't really bothering me because I wasn't really there to focus on anybody but like myself.
Sure.
And I wanted like Chef Ramsay to like see me and like my talent. Like that was like what I was worried about.
Right.
But like I said, she was there to like cook, not talk. And so I just felt like it's fine if you talk, but then at least do what you have to do correctly.
Correct.
Don't throw away stuff.
Right.
Like actually focus and know what's going on. So that was it annoyed me.
And she threw away a lot of stuff. We're going to get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I want to wonder, because Ariel came in a little before we were doing this show and watched the episode with us.
Yes.
So what was it like for you watching that episode there? Was it just like taking you right back? Were you just bringing back a lot of memories? Or were you seeing things that you hadn't seen from other people's comments, things like that are shot? They're like, whoa, I didn't even know that was happening at the time.
Well, there was definitely some, like I watched it last Wednesday, but then like there were definitely some like little like things that I picked up on watching it a second time. But it definitely brings me back. Like it was, it was an experience. Like people ask me all the time, I'm like, I don't think I would opt to put myself through that again. But I definitely think it's a good experience for anybody in the industry. Like I definitely, as a line cook, watching the show and hearing other people talk about the show, and they'd be like, oh, like everyone on the show sucks and blah 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 blah. But like you really have no idea what it's like until you're there.
Right.
So it's like. Your nerves and like everything. But at the same time, we're in an industry where like it's always high stress. It's always like you're at any point in time, like you're working in a restaurant. If Gordon Ramsay comes to eat at your restaurant, it's going to cause the same amount of stress if he's your head chef yelling at you.
Absolutely.
So you kind of have to be able to like focus and like zen yourself.
Now, would you say there's any way to, knowing that you've been through this experience, any way to prepare for it? At any way. I mean, obviously, people are coming from different, types of cooking backgrounds. Some have higher positions than maybe others. But is there any way you can prepare for this or no?
Not really. It's just a matter of like just really being comfortable with yourself and being comfortable with your skill level and being honest and real with yourself and where your skill level is, and just like I feel like in any cooking competition, like the big thing is just to like stay in your comfort zone.
Right.
Like, don't try to, a competition is not the time to push yourself. Like, before you get there, experiment, push yourself, sous vide stuff, whatever you got to do. But, like, when you're there, like, I think, like, the best way to prepare yourself is just to, like, really know the roots of the craft. You know, just be, like, really true to your craft and know what you're doing and know how to properly treat every ingredient, and that's really the best preparation that you can have.
And then also just have friends just write a recipe on your shirt and then just read it to you and see if you can cook it.
It's a good way.
Actually, try to I guess that's also a good way to prepare. Like, try to like I said, like, cook things upside down, like blindfolded, because you never know what's gonna happen on the show. You know,
challenge.
Try to cook things with no like gas under it. Like, see if that works for you. Like,
there's been so many people trying to do that this season.
Just try it.
Just turn on the gas. Can you please just turn on the gas? That would be great. I'm just saying. I think I could do that, but I mean, I'm not there. So, so it starts off the episode, and then we have it gets into your challenge, and we see this every episode. There's a challenge that starts it off, and Chef Ramsay starts speaking French to you all. Did you understand what he was saying? Initially,
it was sad because when I was in high school, you know, people think I'm Spanish. I'm not.
Okay.
Or Hispanic, Latino. I'm not. And so I like wanted to learn French because I always wanted to be a chef. So I took French.
Okay.
And I remember how to say pool.
Okay.
And fish, and neither one of those things were. Oh, bonjour, obviously, but food, like fish and pool, were not in that speech. I had no idea what he was talking about
at all.
I was just like.
So you were lost, like most people, except the one guy who
Chad.
like acts like
Chad. Yeah.
Right.
He guessed. I'm
No.
pretty sure. Did he not? He looked kind of like he was guessing because
I thought he pretty much knew what he was saying, or he was trying to show off. I think
he knew. I don't know if he was trying to show off. He definitely he knew what chef.
okay, because he asked the first time. He was like, "Did you guys understand that?" And then no one said anything. And then he did a second phrase, so that's why I thought he was like, "Oh."
I think that he didn't want to come across as the know-it-all, and then he was like, "You know what?
fine. I'm gonna put it out
wall,
there.
I'm just gonna
Let me say it because I know what's up.
Yeah.
So we started talking about communication because that was the challenge, and that was the whole point of him speaking French. And so the challenge was that you guys had to have recipes on your backs, and then have your teammates read them to you so you can cook it.
Yes.
Obviously, there was going to be challenges there because communication is not everyone's strong suit. And we saw already that your girl Mies, who seems like at the beginning, who should be a telemarketer, couldn't really do a good job for Kristen because, as we saw, she was reading it to her, but didn't give her all the information on the recipe.
And then just said, "Kristen, you screwed up the dish.
Right,
That was your fault."
Well, that's her fallback.
Yeah.
I mean, in Misa's defense, since she thinks I'm such a B word, you know, you're a chef. And I think Kristen came in as like a sous chef or something like that. So to be at that level and not know how to make spanakopita.
Right. That's kind of not the greatest.
You know, it's the, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the challenge was communication.
Sure.
So like for Mies to be, and like I mentioned too, like there's no ownership. Like you, like Mies, you fucked up. You didn't communicate to her. Like you should have read every single little thing on that recipe.
Right.
She seems to always have the fallback of, "It's not my fault.
Yeah.
It was their fault."
We also learned that Danny doesn't know what a taquito is, or at least right off the top of that. I was like, oof.
Well, that was, I mean, there was a lot of, it was kind of chaotic. And I can imagine, like you said, you don't know unless you're there.
Yeah,
and of course, you got everybody running around. You're trying to cook, but at the same time, trying to help somebody else with their, you know, it's just, it can be chaotic. And the whole point is, you know, again, communication.
But if somebody's telling me a recipe and they're like, you know, a thing, like you put the thing and the thing and the thing, and the first three things out of their mouth is thing,
Right.
I probably would say, I need someone else to communicate this to me.
And like
I don't
switch
think Danny
out, like,
knows which
right.
Yeah, be like, yo,
Get up out of
come
here.
read this for me
Yeah.
because Danny said thing 4 times
Right.
and I don't like.
I don't get it.
I don't know what a thing is.
I don't know what it
I don't
is.
know how to cook a thing.
I mean, I can see how that can be an issue. Because it wasn't like anyone was assigned to anybody per se. It was just, you just needed to have somebody read it to you.
Yeah.
So, in defense, that should have happened. Your Frank, who is Frank's favorite person. No, not at all.
don't
None
love
of
your
us
name?
really like
No.
Frank.
Twins?
Nobody likes Frank.
Nobody.
I don't understand.
Why?
He
Okay.
comes off so aggressive
Yeah.
that I mean, it's only been 3 episodes. Things can change
person, so
as
I like
well.
that.
So you like that?
Yeah.
It's a different kind of aggressive, though. I mean, it's only been 3 episodes. We've only seen
military guy.
them show one kind of side of him.
Okay, so this is my thing. I've been in the military. I understand the whole military situation. I think that what he tries to do is he overcompensates. I mean, yes, I get it, military, but he tries to be the dominant alpha male in the kitchen. And I think what ends up happening, like in this situation, he didn't understand what the challenge was. The challenge was not only communication, but in my mind was also to follow the directions, follow the recipe. His thing was like, oh, I'm not just gonna make a burger. I'm gonna make a burger with liquid smoke and dynamite and nitrogen, and that's my burger, you know?
I don't know why anyone would use liquid smoke in anything to begin with. So
Thank you.
That was just like weird.
Yeah.
Like, why did you put liquid smoke?
I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever eaten something with liquid smoke, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it
I don't
tastes
think that was a bad thing, and it's not a military thing either. So you couldn't even blame it on that because
Yeah, no.
nobody does liquid smoke. Like we talked about, Amanda made a burrito, not a taquito. You know, not really our fault. You know, we can blame it either way. You and Jared got a point for spaghetti carbonara. How many times have you made spaghetti carbonara? Like lots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like saw Mario Batali make it one day, and I was like, damn, I really like eggs and bacon and pasta, and that sounds really good. So one day I was like, let me see if I can make this, and then it was good. I also like cacio e pepe, which is like kind of similar, minus the pancetta, add a lot of black pepper. So I liked it. I was honestly kind of mad that Jared got a point though.
You wanted to take that whole.
Yeah, did you see his plate? Like,
Yeah.
I wish we could replay it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, are you kidding me, chef,
Yeah.
right now? You
Yeah.
kidding me? Look how beautifully I plated this. And he just, like, slaps it in the plate. And, like, but
Yeah.
I guess the flavor was there. I don't know. I didn't
The
taste
flavor, obviously the flavor
it. No,
was
that's
there.
what really matters.
But shout out to you for getting the point. I mean, I think that's dope. Jackie messes up the eggplant parmesan, which
terrible.
well, and then the bad thing was she's Italian and she should know how to cook this like anything.
The bad thing for me was not only like that she should, is that she's up there while he's looking at it and like talking about how gross it looks, and she's like, "Oh, I got this. It's fine."
Yeah,
Anytime Gordon calls it a diaper,
Right.
Like, that's you know,
You left
it's
your
not.
diaper up
you're
here.
not going to win if it's called a diaper. But I think she was beside herself because I think she was going on the notion that, oh, I got this, I'm Italian, piece of cake.
Yeah.
And obviously it was not cake. It was actually a diaper instead of cake. So that's what it was. So we got down to all the points calibrated, and unfortunately for you all, the winner was the blue team. And they got to go to a mixology class and then get foot massages in Santa
Orgasmic
Barbara.
foot massages.
Yeah.
Wait, can we just talk a moment about like Jared? Just basically
have
this
to?
whole episode.
He's all okay. Your boy Jared is okay. First of all, in the beginning of the episode, he's really flirty with Ashley, talking about her boob job, and he's like trying to get close to her. Then he's like got getting the foot massage and really, really loud and obnoxious with it. What's up with Jared?
I mean, he says his
Hands
advice is
off.
women.
Yeah.
Is he charismatic? Like, is he like, oh, I could see why women be into him? Or you're like, no, I don't know.
Like, was there stuff in the house we weren't seeing?
I played the fifth.
She pleads the
All
fifth.
right,
Everybody.
that's all right. I think we got our answer.
We're leaving
there.
it go.
Yeah.
We're leaving it go. So yeah, he was all over the place. He was all over the place.
Ashley was on another television show. So apparently she was
Ah.
on Cutthroat Kitchen.
Thank you.
And
I just was telling her.
apparently
Yes.
Jared had his eye on her since then. So
Really?
it was kind of creepy that they ended up on Hell's Kitchen together.
Oh.
So I was like actually kind of worried for her well-being.
Really?
I was like, why are you letting this dude, like, when he was like rubbing her and like she's talking about her boobs, I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you? Because then like when we got it like clicked for her, 'cause she was like, didn't you just like message me on Facebook? Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, and he was like, yeah, like, and I was
Oh, he's
like,
proud of it.
oh, yeah. So I was like, that's kind of weird. So I was a little concerned for her.
Interesting. Wonder what's going to happen later. We're going to have to keep watching about Jared. But the losers, which was the red team, your team, you got the pleasure of gutting, scaling, and breaking down sea bass, approximately 100 pounds. Was it as smelly as it looked?
I know fresh fish don't smell.
Okay.
So I mean, it was kind of gross, but like fresh fish really don't smell that bad. And I mean, yeah, my stepfather was a fisherman. Like I always I like breaking down protein, so I kind of enjoyed it.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
was the soup as good as
Jackie.
Jackie was making it seem, or was it as gross as other people were making it seem?
Honestly, the soup was really good. Like, Christina's a bomb-ass chef.
Yeah.
So, like, it wasn't nasty at all. But, you know, like, some people are just, like, squeamish. Like, oh, my God, it's a fish head. But then it's like, you're trying to be a head chef at BLT. And, like, you're afraid of a fish head. It's kind of like, what kind of, like, you know, it's like, if you're going to be a chef, like, you need to be able to, like, get in there, gut it, scale it, whatever you got to do.
All of that.
Yeah, but the soup was actually pretty good.
I was paying attention to you, and you were, like, going to town.
Yeah, I was like licking the bones.
I saw the bones get picked out.
You didn't even see me because they were like, she really likes this soup.
No, you weren't talking, you weren't complaining, you were just eating.
It was good. It was kind of like some Thai flavors in there.
Really?
Like some lemongrass.
And Christina did make that herself.
Yeah,
Shout out to Christina. She was on our show last week.
How long does that punishment take?
We were probably in there for like 4 hours or something. Wow. It was a while. We probably like 2 hours before we took the lunch break, and then that's when we went back and had to do like the citrus and stuff. So.
Got it.
Oh yeah, and boy, after that, like nobody was really loving Jackie's vibe there during like the zesting and stuff. She seemed like she was really pushing a lot of people's buttons.
She was getting very, very obnoxious. This is what I wrote on my notes, and it seemed like there's always somebody that kind of just loses it. And to me, it seems early for her to be doing that. So that just makes believe that's her personality because that's how she is. So it's interesting.
I thought she was I still think, like, for me it was like I'm used to being like the crazy one. So I was really happy with Jackie because I'm like, good, you're taking all of the
crazy, you're
taking
focus.
all the crazy focus off of me and onto you. And she was funny, maybe because we're both from Jersey.
Yeah,
I thought she was hilarious.
Yeah.
But Ashley did not think she
was
so hilarious.
No.
But it felt like Jackie just fielded it. They called her dirty hooker.
Yeah.
There you go.
She seems like the kind of girl that if you start on her, she's gonna just push your buttons.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just like on purpose.
Yeah.
Is that now? There's a lot. I feel like every single, and you can help me because you said you're from Jersey. It seems like every single season they always have at least one chef from Jersey, if not two. Is that the? I'm not from the East Coast. I'm from here on the West. So is that the? Like you said, you're good with that. Is that the vibe of Jersey?
Are we all button pushers?
No, that's not what I'm asking.
Okay.
I'm asking, is it? Do you guys thrive on speaking your mind?
Oh yeah. I mean, like when I moved to LA, like the first, like so many people were like, I really like your like, you're really like honest, like you just like speak your mind, like how it is, and I'm like, no offense to the Los Angelinos, but that's like the thing I miss most about the East Coast. Like the sunsets are beautiful, the beach is nice, the Uber drivers talk way too much, but I miss people that just like speak their mind and they're just like tell it how it is. But, it has its time and its place.
Sure.
But that's definitely an East Coast thing, I think.
Okay. Because I'm just saying, I've seen pretty much every season of Hell's Kitchen, and it seems like the people from the East Coast, Jersey, New York, in that area, maybe even Philadelphia, they just are the ones that are always going to speak their mind.
Yeah.
So it is an East Coast thing.
Yeah.
Word. There it is. Yeah. Speaking minds. Speaking of speaking minds, Jared is talking again, and he says that he needs to do it what the recipe says. So he's talking in general to the kitchen.
He's being passive aggressive.
And thank you. He's being very, very passive aggressive. And
I think he's an East Coaster too.
Is he?
Yeah, I forget where he's from, but he's definitely from that coast.
From that side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then Hassan says that, why are you saying that about our best chef in reference to Frank or one of our strongest chefs?
Yeah. Right.
Like and that's maybe my issue with Frank is that I feel like I have not seen him really show how strong he is because I feel like he's always just kind of rogue on a lot of these challenges and table services. So I feel like, where is he really that strong of a chef?
Well, I mean, I think I can see where they can call it that. I mean, not just from his presence, his personality, but there's a lot that we don't see, and you can attest to that. Editing, I mean, it does a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes a lot about. Like you said, the challenge was 4 hours. It was condensed, to 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of editing that happens, and I think that he is on the stronger end of the guys at this point. So I think that's probably what he was saying, like, why are you talking about one of our stronger chefs like that? However, that being said, he was being very passive-aggressive, and I think that was just his way of handling things and just kind of, giving spite a little bit before they started service so everybody's on the same page. I don't necessarily agree with that tactic. He should have said something to, him directly and be like, hey, make sure you follow the recipe, as opposed to be like, hey, guys, just a rule of thumb, follow the rest. Like, stop it. Like, we know what you're saying.
Necessary.
Yeah, not even necessary.
Because it's even brought up in this episode too, where I think maybe it was Chad that said it. Like, we all know to get to the end, it's certainly an individual goal. Only one person can win. Hassan can win at the end, but we all have to work together as a team to get us to that point.
Yes.
So, how important that is right now, this early in the competition? Are you all thinking doesn't matter about looking out for number one here? Right now, we just got to make sure the team as a whole succeeds, because that way we make sure we get it further in the game.
For sure. I mean, for sure. Like, you can't, because if you try to like outshine everybody, you kind of end up just looking like an asshole, and then and then in addition to that, you're also like, then people are not going to want to help you. So like, we all kind of need each other's help in the stations, because we're all like new to the recipes, new to the way that Hell's Kitchen works. So like, definitely working together is like the main goal. And then kind of like in the challenges is when you have a chance to like help your team, but kind of shine as your own person. As well. You know what I mean? And I think that's really what Frank was trying to do. Like he thought he was going to get a point for his team, and then also be able to kind of showcase like his own flavors.
Sure.
So I think that's where he was going with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if he would have left that out, he probably should have just not said it out loud, and he would have been good. But like him saying that, because Gordon didn't say the burger was bad. He was like, if you would have followed. I mean, I think Chef was more upset that he was like, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Didn't follow the recipe.
If he would have just like shut up and just like put the burger up, maybe he would have got a point.
Maybe. Talk too much. Just saying. They actually, the blue team talking about, they got to also cook for Buzz Aldrin, which was kind of dope. And so we get into your side.
Thank you.
Yeah, she said she didn't
like, what is this, Toy Story?
Gosh. Oh, yeah.
That made me a little sad.
That made me a lot sad, actually. And that's probably why I was like breezing through that, because I was like, that wasn't real. She didn't really say that. Did I really see that?
Yeah, I was like, was that just kind of like something they were like, someone needs to say something?
Right. No.
No, I think
that was actually...
When they're breaking down your stations for the evening, and you find out the tableside dishes are going to be part of the service that evening, when whoever gets assigned to that, do they feel like, oh, we got to pass this episode or this service, because it's pretty easy? Do you feel like that's an easy spot to get when you're assigned stations on service?
No, just because like you still have to help the team, you know what I mean? So it's like sometimes like if you can hear them getting yelled at and you're kind of like, do I go back in the kitchen or do I stay here? Like, am I going to get yelled at? Like, you don't really know what to do. But it's like definitely more of a feeling of like, I need them in the kitchen, or like I should be in the kitchen. Like, I think Frank was on table service, or someone was on table service like in the second episode, and they're like, we got to go back in there and help. And
it was Eddie.
Eddie,
yeah. Then he had to eat some food.
Yeah, so
see,
it's
I
like,
just really want to see them show a little bit of that, because I never see the tableside service happening. You just see like these people are assigned to it.
Well, they will show it when they mess up.
They will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you see somebody mess up, like let's say they bump into somebody or drop a bunch of stuff, you will see that. Because I've even seen in previous seasons that Gordon will actually yell at somebody at table service. Like he'll see or something like, or the maitre d' will say something or then report back to Gordon. So when they mess up, you will see it.
Now, do the customers that come into the restaurant have to sign like a waiver that's like no like trauma from this event of having someone yelling 24/7?
I don't know. That's a good question, but I definitely, to answer your question, I don't think table service is a break. You saw me episode 2. I was so mad. I was on a table service. Like, come on, Gordon.
Stop. You know, one thing I did want to highlight, since you are here, is the episode when the game came.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wasn't I at table service?
You wanted to be at table service.
I was definitely supposed to be at table service. Everyone's like, I don't even know who the game is. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Don't even know. So was that real, Jim? Because I mean, of course, they highlighted your reaction or whatever. Was that was real deal? Like, come on.
What do you mean, come on? The game is awesome. He sent a water to Flint, Michigan. Like, it was real. Yeah,
okay. I just want to ask. I'm just making sure.
That was real.
I'm making
sure.
So
if there's a season 2 of She's Got Game, are you going to try to be on it?
He's on that show?
I think we got our answer.
Yes. He had a reality show?
It's a dating show to find someone to date him.
Oh, I didn't know. Probably not. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah.
But, I mean, since I moved to LA, I've seen him in the club a few times.
Oh, okay. What's up? JC Young?
I was like on the other side of the club, though.
Right. It's all good. He saw you. He did. I promise.
Whatever.
So on the red team, we have Vanessa who's struggling with remembering the orders. So that's not a good thing with Chef Ramsay. And I've seen this several times. Going back over to the blue team, Jared, here he is again. But he actually does good with the risotto. So he does that well. Going back to Vanessa, she gets one of the lobster tails, so it's not looking good for her at this moment from what we're seeing. And then we have Kristen, who can't call back an order. And then Christina ends up writing the order on her back, which to me, that's just really embarrassing. Like that just takes
hilarious.
it is hilarious.
Like,
no, it's hilarious
I love
unless
humor.
you're her.
No, like even as a teammate, I'm like, just because like sometimes it can be difficult. Like honestly, if he would ask me, I probably would have been like, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And at the same time, though, it was literally like 2 specials, 2 risottos,
Right.
2 snapper, 2 Wellington, 2 tuna. Like it wasn't like it was like 1, 2, 3,
Right.
8, 9.
Right.
So like to me, it was kind of like it was literally the entire menu by 2s.
By 2s.
So it's like seriously.
And you're
bro.
supposed to know the entire menu.
Like seriously.
Right.
So,
I feel like that's Gordon's one of the biggest pet peeves. If everybody's
don't
not
call
listening,
back.
if you don't call back, and
Yeah.
you don't have like everybody's in unison, like yes, chef.
Yeah.
Right.
When everybody's just really quiet after a reason order
Oh,
back.
he
in.
hates
Right.
quiet, even on
Yes.
his other shows. Like,
Yeah.
And that's one of the things like about me and like I just in general, and I said it on the episodes, like I take my craft very seriously, and it's just like a lot of people are like, he's just so mean, he's so mean, and I'm like, he's really not mean. Like I said, like he has several Michelin stars. Like he just takes like the brigade is very serious to him. Like your uniform looking good, and you like when we line up and he gives us our table assignments, like all of that stuff is really important to him, and that's part of kitchen service. The chef calls you an order, you call back, say yes, chef, and like that's it. It's
Get it done.
very simple, you know. And so for him, it's like obviously he gets perturbed. Like we get to this level, and you're at this level, and you have sous chefs and executive chefs, and this chef and that chef, and yada yada yada.
Right.
He wants you to, you know what I mean, have those skills.
Absolutely.
So
And it's got to be frustrating by the third table service to still not be doing those things consistently. It
Yeah.
must drive him crazy.
yeah.
I can imagine. I mean, like I said, if not a chef, cook. I mean, I told Christine I make a mean hot pocket. It's like perfect temperature, really amazing. But if I was, I can imagine just going through it. Even and I asked you this question, and I can probably know that you can't prepare yourself for that. The bottom line is you have to do what you do the best that you can.
Yeah.
And I think if you do that, and he sees that, and he sees that you're trying to make an effort, when you don't do what you're supposed to do or you don't follow directions, that's when I think he gets upset, and that's when the yelling starts,
Yeah.
and that's when you end up going home eventually.
sure.
So
Well, I think also for him, it's more respect and taking pride in yourself and what you want to
Absolutely.
do with your life.
absolutely. Because he's looking for a head chef.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have to not just a great cook. He's looking for a head chef, someone that leads, like the whole gamut. So I mean,
yeah, there's like some state like respect is like one of the biggest things. Like one of my chefs always like respect. Like he has it tatted on his arm. Like respect, humility. Like it's just there's certain things that like a chef is supposed to have. And
Right.
even like I always tell like my friends, like to me there's like I consider myself a cook. You know, I feel like there's at least 15 to 20 years of being a cook, like before you should have the title of chef or sous chef. Like to me, you should be able to like go into the woods and prepare a 7-course meal. Then you're a chef. You know what I mean? There's like certain things that you have to do. Like I always make the comparison. Like there's a difference between like a magician and a wizard. You know, so it's like
Right.
it takes a lot of time and dedication to the craft before you get to the position of wizard.
right.
And so it's been watered down.
For you, when was the moment in your season where you saw Gordon? Because of course you know who Gordon Ramsay is going into this, but that you see him doing something in front of you where you're like, holy cow, this guy is just next level.
I mean, just like the first time we saw him, it's just like he's next level. Just the way he like carries himself, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
he's not like a sloppy. Like I hate the like when people say like never trust a skinny chef. Like
Right.
you should trust a skinny chef because you are what you eat, and if
Correct.
if you're a good chef, you're eating healthy and you're like eating things that are nutritious and
Sure.
healthy for your body. And like Chef Ramsay is very, very like that's really important to him. You know what I mean? Like not smoking, taking care of yourself, like eating healthy, cooking healthy, fresh ingredients. So like you can tell when you see him. Like the camera does him no justice.
Right.
It really doesn't.
Which, speaking of that, I've noticed a lot of the chefs smoke. It seems like, at least from like the camera angles they use, it seems like when all you girls are talking, especially, there's so many of you guys smoking.
I love every time.
You didn't see me smoking. You didn't see me smoking. But you know, it's like you wait, like like Jared said, a lot of us have vices.
Sure.
And so,
Sure.
you know, like being on the show,
No
it's
judgment.
like
No judgment.
being on the show, you know, you can't like go out and hang out with your friends and
Right.
have a beer. You can't like, you know what I mean, do any of the normal things that you would do to decompress. But yeah, definitely there was a lot of cigarette smoking going on. There was definitely a lot of that. And I definitely think that that's not something that Chef Ramsay's into at all.
Yeah.
Right. I can imagine.
Like cigarettes for breakfast.
Somebody that I think that he's also not into is Manda. She wasn't doing too hot. She actually slowed up your team on several occasions. She was the one that was on the garnish. You really like her because her glasses are hot.
No, well, I just like her style. I think she has a very cute style. She has the little 50s flair going on.
Yeah, it's just like you're in the kitchen, like why are you wearing red lipstick
Right.
in the kitchen? Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, 'cause-
I
I mean, that's me.
I think
was
it's
like-
cute.
Yeah.
It's cute, but then like work at a diner. Like don't try to be the head chef at BLT. What
Thank you. Mies was crazy with the Wellingtons, like throwing them. And when I saw this, I was like, I need to ask Ariel this. What was? Please put this all in perspective. He pulls out all these Wellingtons and he mentions that they're all cooked perfectly. What was the reason that she put all these Wellingtons in the trash?
I wanted to elbow her. I was like standing right next to her, like, is she serious? My whole thing was like, I don't know why she threw them away. And even if like when you watch her, she's like super
Right.
sneaky about it.
Yeah.
She's just like, I'm not serving this. Like
Really?
Yeah, you see it on the camera. She's just like,
Wow.
I'm not serving this. She's just like throwing them in the garbage like this, rather than being like, hey chef, like, are these so good?
Right.
Something. But the thing that killed me is just like, you know, like, as a cook or a chef, whatever you want to call me, whatever, there's so many people who are working in the kitchen who are like starving that like, not like starving, but like
Right.
they're hungry. Like
Right.
we have dishwashers who are
Sure.
helping wash the dishes. Like for me, I always try to feed my dishwashers, like at work, whatever, because it's like
Right.
feed them and then you're like, yo, I need this pan really quick, and they're
Right.
going to help you out before they help anybody else.
Absolutely.
So I'm in my head thinking that the whole time, like, you could have just slipped them some Wellingtons
Right.
and made sure we had like good pans to cook our scallops in. Like, I mean, tell them set aside the good pans for the red team,
Right.
something. And she's just throwing them away. Besides the fact that, like, you know, like obviously, like you always have to be mindful of how much money is being wasted in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
So
And those aren't cheap at all. It needs to be
filet
frozen.
mignon
Yeah.
is not cheap,
At
and
all.
besides the fact that they're not cheap, they're really time intensive to make.
to
like
make.
you have to make the duxelle and the puff pastry, and
Right.
then you have to roll them. You have to let the steak cool. You have to make the duxelle cool, and it's like a whole process.
It's an arduous process. So to throw it away is just asinine. Speaking of that, I think all of that attributed to you guys eventually just getting kicked out the kitchen.
Yeah.
You could not finish service. And so, of course, when you're kicked out, you automatically lose. So you now have to deliberate. And while you're deliberating, you in particular got really angry and actually said that I'm getting angry. Like you said, I'm getting angry. Like really, really loud. And then you look like the Hulk. I'm just saying. That's what it looked like. Can you please? That was great. I love that was my favorite part of the whole entire episode. But were you at your point at that minute?
And I think I said then, it's just like there's no ownership. Like that's like one of the biggest things is like there's no ownership. Like the first episode, like I owned that. Like I fucked up. I shouldn't have touched her shit. Like
Right.
that was not like, no matter what, like that was my fault.
Right.
Shouldn't have done that. And so it was just bothering me that she just kept saying like, it's not me, it's not me. And I thought Amanda had a good point too when
Right.
she was like, no shit, Vanessa, you didn't fuck anything up because you didn't
Right.
do anything.
Right.
You know? So I was just getting like, definitely I was getting aggravated. And like for me, the thing is like, Chef always says like, send home the weakest people on the team. He never says send home the person who messed up in service today. And like you said, like there's obviously things it's like they can't show on
Sure,
the show because they
sure.
would take forever.
Right.
But you know, like we're watching each person as they're preparing for dinner that night, throughout the services, throughout the challenges, and it's like Amanda isn't necessarily the weakest, and like we have to take all of that into account, you know? So I was definitely getting aggravated because it was like people were picking like, but I like this person, so I don't want to send them home. Or like, oh, but Vanessa's sweet, she's going to do better next time. And like, that's not what your chef told you to do.
Right.
For all intents and purposes, like Gordon is our executive chef.
Right.
He told us to send home who's the weakest person. Like we're his brigade. He's our executive, and we have to make sure that he has a good team so that he looks good during dinner service.
Which is why you pulled the power move, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because when it did come time to nominations, you guys kind of said, and I thought it was interesting because I knew something was coming up. Because normally, in this particular time, you don't know who the final two that you guys decide as a whole. But it was said. So I'm like, they said that. That's interesting. There must be a twist. So the twist happens when yours truly goes up and he says, who are the two people? Of course, Misa's one, which I totally agree with. Throwing away all those Wellingtons, all bad. Plus, she sounds like a telemarketer. And but then it was supposed to be Amanda, according to the discussion. And he said, who was the weakest chef, or who is the weakest chef? And you said, you thought about it, composed yourself with a loud voice. You said Vanessa. And they said, oh my gosh, she went rogue and people are looking and crazy or whatever. At least that's what we saw or how they portrayed it.
Oh, that's what happened.
Right. Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love people are like, they edit it so much. And I'm like, they really don't. They just they condense it. But I don't see that they really edit. It's pretty
Right.
true to.
Well, when do you know that? Did they tell you that? All right, Ariel, Chef's going to ask you who the nominees are. How soon? How far in advance do
They
you know
don't
that?
tell you that.
So he just could have picked anybody out at random and asked who your nominees are.
And also, I was like, why didn't everyone? Because he asked, do you have nominees? Everyone is supposed to say yes,
Yes.
chef, just like it's service. Everyone is supposed to answer. So I'm like, yes, chef. I'm like,
And you
why
the
did
only
you
one.
shut up? So then he's like,
Right.
So in that moment, then, so when he asked you for the second name, were you planning on going in? Were you like, all right, it's going to be Amanda, it's going to be Amanda, but then he asks you the second name, and you just take that moment? Because you seem like you almost you pause for a moment, and you're deliberating in your head.
Well, because we had decided on Amanda, but a lot of people were saying Vanessa, but then they kept being but Amanda messed up in service.
Right.
But they were Vanessa's weaker, but Amanda messed up in service. So it was I went in there in my head, kind of just I hope he doesn't call on me because.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna come out of my mouth. I was hoping that he didn't pick on me.
And he sensed that,
So
and he called on you.
he's telepathic.
Yeah.
And then he was like, Ariel.
Right.
And then he saw me. Obviously, everyone saw me hesitate, and
Sure.
I'm like, Jesus.
So he did actually call them both down. And of course, he goes and he does a spiel. Why do you think you should stay? Why do you think you stay? And lo and behold, the person that you chose, Vanessa, was eliminated. And we kind of talked a little bit about before the show. And my personal opinion is, if you did not pick Vanessa and you went ahead with Amanda, I think he would have snatched her from the lineup because she was the weak chef, and she probably would have still gone home. So that's my opinion
Thank you
with
for
it.
making me feel better.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
that's what I do. But I really think that in the bottom of my heart, because we've seen her now with this being the third episode, and she just hasn't done well. And so I think it was her time to go, and then you speaking up just kind of pushed that a little bit forward. So that's how I feel about it. But before we close out, I want to kind of just, we got about 5 minutes left, you kind of talk about what you have going on now. I know you said you're here in LA, you relocated from Jersey, you like the beaches, you don't like the Uber drivers, they talk too much.
Cool sometimes.
What can you tell us about what you're doing now, where you're working? What's going on with Ariel?
I moved here a year and a half, a year ago or something like that now, and I am just trying to hone my skills more, learn as much as I can. Danny's her signature dish was Thai food, and I'm like, damn, she really got me, because I'm I'm used to French, Italian kind of cuisine. I love comfort food, no matter what culture it comes from. So right now I'm working at a restaurant called Pak Pak.
Okay.
It's Thai food.
Okay.
So it's very not pad Thai, not fried rice. It's very regional, spicy, in your face, Thai food that most people have never experienced before.
Oh wow.
So I was really excited that they opened here in LA, because there's one in New York, one in Portland. So
Oh,
they
there
opened
is.
in
Oh,
LA
okay.
just recently.
Where are
yeah.
they located in Los Angeles?
Chinatown.
Nice.
So that's what I'm doing now, and just trying to get all the stations, learn them all. It's it's cool. I really like it. So like I said, just learning a new flavor profile, because I've never worked with any type of Asian food or Southeast Asian food or anything like that. So
That's dope.
that's what I'm doing now.
Challenge yourself.
It's working exactly.
Well,
And
going
so-
into the competition and then coming out, how do you feel that you changed as you came out of the competition? As a chef, did you feel like you grew? In what way?
Well, I mean, I think, like I said before, just like for me to be able to call myself a chef, I need to know more than just, like I said, Italian and French food. So I still consider myself a line cook. That's what I do. And until I learn all cuisines and I can go to any country and, you know what I mean, cook something just as well as somebody's grandmother that's been making this for, you know what I mean, 50, 60 years. Like, that's like still my goal, is just to like I said, hone my skills and learn as much as I can about the craft and about food in general, about people. But definitely since going on the show, I don't know, I have like a new outlook on life. I'm a little less aggressive. I still have that jersey, but just a little bit more understanding of like just life and like different people's paths in life and like why they do the things they do and how they got to where they are and maybe why they haven't gotten to where they should be. So just trying to be a better, more well-rounded person.
Awesome.
Not so like rolling my eyes at everybody.
Well, as long as you don't have any like, you know, people like me's in the kitchen that are throwing away food, then I think
you always got a
you'll be
me's in
good.
the kitchen. There's always a me's in the
gonna be
kitchen.
one.
Yeah, always. And I just, rather than like tell them about themselves, I'm just like, I'll be like, hey, like maybe next time instead of throwing all the shit out, you could make something for a family meal or like make something for someone to eat.
Give it to the dishwashers.
Exactly.
Gosh, we want clean pans. Everybody, we want clean pans over here. This is how we get down. We want clean AfterBuzz TV cups. I want to thank you, Ariel, for being here on our show.
Me.
We so appreciate it. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves. You can always find me at The Poet Saint all day, every day. Where can they find you, ma'am?
You can find me on Twitter at bphipps14.
And Ariel, please remind the people where they can find you on social media.
Check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Chef Ariel Malone.
And you can find me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
Happy Go Jack. That's like the best like Twitter name ever. I really like that
thanks,
Twitter.
Lem.
I'm gonna be Happy Go Jackie too. That's gonna be my second. I'm just saying. I'm gonna plug it. Y'all, we want to thank you. Until next week, we will see you again.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.